who makes it clear she'll put parenting before politics.
I've, had to juggle being mom-in-chief and having a career for a long time. The primary focus for the first year will be making sure that the kids make it through the transition.
Presidents and their wives tend to neglect their children, frankly, because they're so power obsessed and they're so obsessed with the long road to get elected that the children often suffer. And this is not the case with the Obama's children.
She wanted her children to still be able to live their lives. And I think what the Obamas found out is that's not entirely possible. They're very young, they're starting a new school. She really wanted to just take them there in the mornings. For her to take the kids to school meant there had to be cars, there had to be security, there were traffic issues.
Instead, Sasha and Malia, just 7 and 10, went off to school with Secret Service agents and Mrs. Obama's mother.
Raising our girls in the White House with my mom, not gonna do this. It's a beautiful experience.
They didn't know any of this before they moved to the White House. They had never lived a life like this. What about something like a dance performance, or a basketball game at the girls' school? Would the President and First Lady be allowed to attend?
The theme for this year's event is Ready, Set, What? Go!
Committed to creating a sense of normalcy, Mrs. Obama had a talk with the White House staff.
They said, we're going to have to set up some boundaries because they're going to need to be able to make their beds.
Those early years in the White House were a real adjustment for Michelle. She had to start over in many ways, and she had to do it under the watchful eye of the world. And that's a lot of pressure.
Each First Lady redefines the role, and she defined it as mom-in-chief, and she went for issues that were not controversial.
I think we're ready, yeah.
As Malia and Sasha settled in, Mrs. Obama began to focus on not just what was best for her own girls, but what was best for the nation's children.
You can lift up the grass with the pitchforks. Go, go, go.
In 2009, on the first day of spring, the First Lady broke ground on the White House garden. Located on the South Lawn, the garden was designed to get kids more interested in vegetables and healthy eating.
Let's hear it for fruits! Yeah! What, did I hear a boo?
Mrs. Obama took healthy eating a step further in 2010, launching her hugely popular Let's Move campaign to help curb childhood obesity.
Clearly, we're determined to finally take on one of the most serious threats to their future, and that's the epidemic of childhood obesity in America today.
Let's move, let's move! Let's move, let's move!
She encouraged kids to be more physically active, running, dancing, and poking fun at herself to make her point.
Let's Move is going to take families out of their isolation and give them the nationwide support that they need. Turn up for what?
I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep.
She also danced with Big Bird, Ellen, and Jimmy Fallon, too.
We want to end the epidemic in a generation. We're really aiming at children born today because our goal is that if we begin shaping habits and shaping the conversation, that will change the habits of young people today.
Still, not everyone was impressed.
Who should be making the decisions what you eat and school choice and everything else? Should it be government or should it be the parents? It should be the parents.
In a show of defiance, Republican Sarah Palin once brought sugar cookies to a school fundraiser to protest what she called a nanny state and the idea of nutritional nitpicking.
We're living in such a polarized partisan time that if she had said the sky is blue, they would have said, no, it's red.
We've got some Girl Scouts who are here. Woo for the Girl Scouts!
But the criticism didn't slow down Michelle Obama's commitment to kids. In 2014, her Reach Higher initiative encouraged young people to go to college. And in 2015, she launched Let Girls Learn, a program to help girls around the world stay in school.
One of these girls could have the potential to cure cancer or start a business that transforms an industry or become the next president or prime minister who inspires her country. But if she never sets foot in a classroom, chances are she will never discover or fulfill that potential.
She understood that if humanity is going to survive, it's going to be in the hands of women.
Which may be why she joined the effort to bring home more than 200 Nigerian schoolgirls kidnapped by Boko Haram.
In these girls, Barack and I see our own daughters. We see their hopes and their dreams. And we can only imagine the anguish their parents are feeling right now.
She would identify with those kids' struggles. Her message again and again was, look at me, I wasn't born to a family of, any great wealth or education. There was no map in my life that said that I would become First Lady of the United States, and yet I did it.
I loved getting A's. I liked being smart. I thought being smart was cooler than anything in the world. And you too, with these same values, can control your own destiny. You too can pave the way. You are the women who will build the world as it should be. You're going to write the next chapter in history.
If you're a parent, you are happy that Michelle Obama exists. If you're trying to raise young women, you are happy that Michelle Obama exists because she's tough, she's strong, she's beautiful. She said your homework is more important than your boyfriend. That's from the First Lady. Thank you, Michelle.
She did it all without ever losing sight of those two very special girls who called the White House home for the last 8 years.
And I come here as a mom whose girls are the heart of my heart and the center of my world. They're the first things I think about when I wake up in the morning and the last thing I think about before I go to bed at night.
Michelle Obama found her passion at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, but getting there was a struggle, tinged with personal attacks and racist remarks.
That knocked me back a bit. It made me wonder, well, just how are people seeing me? Or you might remember the on-stage celebratory fist bump between me and my husband after a primary win that was referred to as a terrorist fist jab. And over the years, folks have used plenty of interesting words to describe me. One said I exhibited a little bit of uppity-ism. Another noted that I was one of my husband's cronies of color. Cable news charmingly referred